welcome to the Narrowing Path, walking the spiritual walk. My name is Steve Van Adderstein. Thank you all for joining me today as we go through and we do the daily reading for James Allen's Daily Meditations for April 29th. And I'm looking forward to it. Just as a side note, it has a little bit different format just from looking at the general flow of the whole thing. So I'm interested to see how it goes. Looks like more of a poem. And so it should be interesting. This will be fresh to you and fresh to me. And yeah, it's going to be an experience because I don't know the beat or anything of this. It's interesting. So you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. So here we go. First time for everything here. So James Allen's Daily Meditations for April 29th. Increase thy strength in self-reliance. Make the spectres of thy mind obey thy will. See thou command thyself, nor let no mood, no subtle passion, nor swift desire hurl thee to baseness, but shouldst thou be hurled, rise and regain thy manhood, taking gain of loneliness and wisdom from thy fall. Strive ever for the mastery of thy mind, and glean some good from every circumstance that shall confront thee. Make thy store of strength richer for ills encountered and o'ercome. Submit to naught but nobleness. Rejoice like a strong athlete straining for the prize, when thy full strength is tried. Now we start another stanza here. Follow where virtue leads, high and still higher. Listen where pureness pleads, quench not her fire. Lo, he shall see reality, who cometh upward, cleansed from all desire. Oh, wait, I missed the first part of this, excuse me. Before all of that, it opened with, knowledge is for him who seeks, wisdom crowneth him who strives. Peace in sinless silence speaks, all things perish, truth survives. Wow. That center part, no real... The first part I read, there wasn't really any pattern I could really recognize, rhyming scheme. Maybe there's a maybe there's something to do with the actual number of syllables in it. I am not an English major. I usually don't analyze poetry, so this will be interesting. So come along for this journey today. So it opens with, knowledge is for him who seeks. I mean, that's a pretty powerful line right there. If you seek it, you guys, knowledge. I mean, knowledge is everywhere, but until you see it and are willing to look at it, willing to look for it and willing to see it, it will be a whole different thing, and you won't be able to grasp it and hold on to it, right? So, knowledge is for him who seeks. Wisdom crowneth him who strives. Strives, too. It doesn't say complete. It doesn't say he who succeeds. It says he who strives. Right? So it's the effort we put into these things that is important. Peace in sinless silence speaks. I think I really like that one. I really love that line. Peace in sinless silence speaks. In the quiet of our mind, in the quiet of our demeanor, in the calmness of our speech, in the calmness of our actions, in the serenity of our soul, that speaks much louder, much, much, much louder than any words that can be spoken. I believe that. I utterly and completely believe that. It gives the energy of serenity and it gives the energy of peace. That knowing It's powerful. Peace and sinless silence speaks. All things perish. Truth survives. There is nothing else but the truth. Everything else will come and it will go. But there's some things spiritually that really will always be there. That's the thing with spirituality. The truths in the spiritual world we talk about will forever be truths. It's kind of like math. Like math will always be math. There's just some basic truths and principles in this world. And this is one of them. All things perish, truth survives. Truth will always survive, regardless of the religions, whichever religion's interpretation of the truth. There will always be these commonly held themes, which are the truth and spiritual truths and principles and values. So that was there's 3 parts to every single one of these readings. That was the top part. So now we're going to go into the middle part, which is what I read first by accident. So got excited to read poetry today and messed it all up. So here we go. We're going to read the middle part again. And please bear with me as it's chopped up and written in prose. So, increase thy strength and self-reliance. So that's the practice of spiritual living, right? In practice of spiritual decision-making, spiritual thinking, spiritual actions, and spiritual and loving intentions from our heart. Make the specters of thy mind obey thy will. That's, I was just talking about this to somebody. That is so crucial. The mind is meant to be what we use. We are not meant to be victims of our own minds. We're not meant to be subjugated to our own minds. We're supposed to be able to use our own minds, engage in our own minds. Right? Our minds are tools for us to be part of this world with. Just as our bodies are. So, make the specters of thy mind obey thy will. So make the specters being sin, ignorance, these selfish desires, that wanting to preserve our legacy, that constant thought of self. These are the specters of thy mind that we need to force to obey our will through the practice of these principles. These things are starved in the light of spiritual living. See thou command thyself, nor let no mood, no subtle passion, nor swift desire hurl thee into baseness. So in other words, take control of who you are. Command thyself. And don't let a mood, a desire, a subtle passion, or swift desire hurl thee into baseness, into that animalistic, pleasure-seeking, self-serving life. Don't let a subtle passion, swift desire, or mood hurl you into these things. But shouldst thou be hurled, rise and regain thy manhood. So if it does happen, if you do succumb to it, and I like to clarify on these things and be very, very specific to these things. If you get the opportunity to choose differently, you must choose differently. That's what this is about. That growth. We don't get to, when we are aware of something, we get the opportunity to choose differently, and we choose wrongly. That is eroding our character. That is giving a foothold to that self-serving life, to go back to that old way of living. It's a very easy thing to do, and say, oh, I'll work on it later. But when you're presented with the opportunity to work on it now, it's your responsibility to work on it now. Do the right thing. So regain thy manhood. So right there, that's a pretty crucial statement right there. Pretty explosive statement. Regain thy manhood. that manhood of discipline, righteousness, right? Truth seeking, wisdom seeking, loving. These are the markers of a man, not base desires and pleasure. To uphold and fulfill responsibilities is the mark of the man. And I feel like a lot of that's getting lost in today's world, what manhood means. Taking gain of loneliness and wisdom from thy fall. So if you fall, if you make this decision, or if you have that reaction and you take those actions that you shouldn't be taking, and that you wind up in that hole again, you must learn from them. Regain thy manhood, taking gain of lowliness. It's a lowly place. It's a low place to be. And wisdom from thy fall. Strive ever for the mastery of thy mind. We should always be working towards that. We should always be gaining an understanding of our mind and our thoughts. We must always be gaining on that. Strive ever for the mastery of thy mind, and glean some good from every circumstance that shall confront thee. It is your responsibility to learn in every single circumstance you are in. It is your responsibility to grow and be a part of these things. Right? Like, these are important life skills. These are important things to live by. We must learn here. We must learn. Make thy store of strength richer for the ills encountered and overcome. So every hard, difficult, painful, suffering situation you get in, that occurs in your life, you get to learn from. The strength gained from them is where we pull our strength from. That well we seek all the time. That well we drink from when the times get rough. We refill that from the lessons we learn. And we grow. And we're a part of these things. Richer for the ills encountered and overcome. Submit to naught but nobleness. Submit to naught but nobleness. To the truth-seeking, to the wise. Submit not but to nobleness, the virtuous, the Christ-seeking, or when I say Christ-seeking, it's those striving to live a Christ-like life, a life of righteousness and good, and based in spiritual living and spiritual principles. Rejoice like a strong athlete, straining for the prize when thy full strength is tried. So not only are we supposed to learn, not only are we supposed to get through and endure, but when we come to when we come to difficult and trying times, we should not just endure, but rejoice. Rejoice like a strong athlete straining for the prize when thy full strength is tried. When it takes everything in us to continue forward, when it takes every ounce of strength and every ounce of dedication and discipline to continue to move forward, we must move forward and rejoice to know the depth at which we are, the depths of our own strengths. The depths of our manhood, really. I feel like I'm comparing that to and I don't know this religion that well, but all of the movie depictions of it, right, is for the Nordic religion of old, for Vikings, it was beautiful death to die in battle, like testing your strength against men, right? Like, And that's kind of what he's talking about here. Be rejoice in the ability to test your resolve and your strength every time in life that is presented to you. I don't know if we should seek that, but when it does occur, rejoice at the opportunity. So, and that's the end of the main portion. So this is the last bit again here. So, follow where virtue leads, higher and still higher. That I liked right off the bat. Really, faith, right? That's we follow. We follow where virtue leads, where this takes us. We follow where the right thing to do leads us into. Listen where pureness leads. Quench not her fire. So enjoy the ride. Don't try to slow pureness down. Make the right decisions. Make the spiritually right decisions. And don't question, but walk forward and see where it leads you. Sometimes we don't have that plan, right? Or sometimes we don't see the end, but we know the next step to take. And that makes me nervous. I don't know about y'all, but that's a very unnerving thing for me. Listen where pureness leads. Quench not her fire. Do not question it. Allow it to move forward. Take it. Let it carry you forward in this life. And lo, he shall see reality. Who cometh upward, cleansed from all desire. What a cool thing. We'll finally be living in reality. What a great place to be. I think I believe I've spent so much of my life running from reality to be able to be involved with reality again. The truth of reality, the realness and authenticity and genuine reality, and the goodness and love. The true reality is a beautiful thing. Cleansed from all desire. A desireless form. That's a desireless person. A person that is that's a blissful life. That's a joyful life. Because we want for nothing. And that's an amazing thing. So, anyway, thank you for fighting through that one with me today. I was not the prettiest, but thank you so much for jumping in and listening. It is it was as odd as this one was structured. It was a beautiful one to read. Really, I don't know. It just a great take on the humanness of this whole thing, I guess. You know, about standing strong, making the right decisions. If you do fall, learn from that failure, and take the strength and wisdom offered from those things. It's pretty beautiful. So, anyway, thank y'all for joining me today, and I look forward to tomorrow and how that one's going to be structured. I'm sure it'll probably be the same or similar, because that seems to be the theme here. 2 or 3 of the same. So, but we'll see. So I'm looking forward to it. Until next time. Thanks.